Hey guys, what's up? Lewin here at GarageBand and Beyond with my very good friend Ryan Moys. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Lewin.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. So, real quickly, just to let you know, if any of you follow me on Facebook, that you know that I've been, a little intimidated that Ryan's coming in because he's a Grammy Award winner. He has a really nice Grammy in his bathroom.
Yeah,
and
it's a good conversation piece.
Good conversation piece. And, he's worked with people like Jill Scott and Common, and I mean, the list is endless. So anyway, the reason that he's here today is to talk about these guys right here. These are the Avantone Mixcubes. And if you've been following me on Facebook, you've been hearing me talk about these, learning how to use them, all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to bring Ryan in because he was the one who told me about these. He's the only reason I even look at Avantone products in the first place. You were the one, literally. You mentioned the Mixcubes. I started looking, and then I fell in love with the company and everything that they do. So anyway, you want to talk about this?
Sure. So these are the Avantone Mixcubes. So the great thing about these speakers is I use these extensively for mixing. If anyone's familiar with the Aratones, with it. I forget the model number on the
Aratones, I don't,
C's or
something like that,
what it is off the top of my head. But in the studio for years, I used to using the Aratone speakers, mainly more for like vocal rides and to kind of hear the meat and potatoes of the mix. The nice thing about small speakers like these is, they have like almost no distortion with these speakers because it's one driver. But the other thing is it kind of removes all the hype of full range speakers, although these are pretty much full range.
Yeah, I mean, they do say that they're full range, and that's something, I was saying on the Facebook page is that they don't sound beautiful.
No.
Like your normal studio monitors, like, really nice crisp highs and the lows are good.
Extended
and all that
lows,
stuff.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen when you listen to these. So if you're looking for new monitors, it's important that you know that these aren't like beautiful sounding, but they do an extremely important and very specific job at what they do. So you talk about a little that.
Yeah, so basically they remove the extended highs and lows, and they kind of let you focus on the meat and potatoes, I would say, of the mix. So on these, when I kind of go down on these speakers, and again, I don't use these solely to mix on. I use these in conjunction with some other speakers, but when I do go onto these speakers, I do a lot of vocal rides on these speakers.
Right.
Again, it kind of removes all the hype. I really hear just the main meat and potatoes of what's translating or what's not translating. If I can get everything to sound clear and full on these speakers, then I can kind of go up on my larger speakers and maybe polish off some details on the highs and lows. But, this is kind of the main picture.
Right.
If it's translating on these, it's definitely going to translate, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that I got when I started using these, one of the things that I noticed, my mixes started sounding better on like iPhones, iPads, laptops, computers. We all spend so much time and money on all these like super nice, expensive pieces of equipment, but then everybody listens to it on an iPhone on the train, sometimes without headphones. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you want to make sure they can hear the kick, and you want to make sure that they can hear the bass and stuff like that. And that's something, like we were talking about before. When you're mixing with these speakers, one of the tricks is to actually look for like a fundamental element of the bass frequency, and then find it somewhere in the higher range, and then you can actually attenuate it, and then you can start hearing it through the smaller speakers. Like a lot of times, especially when I first started using them, I put my mixes through these and like the bass just disappeared.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, I got to figure that out. These totally, I think a lot of my viewers have probably noticed my mixes have, like more you do, the better they get. And this has been these speakers have been a huge part of why my mixes have been getting better. So I got to thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, no
honestly,
worries.
That really did make a big difference getting those things. But, I mean, so do you know more about that? Like, when you're looking in the bass frequencies, do you have any tips for, like, looking, like, this is how you find that?
I think it's more, again, these speakers sort of focus a little more on the mid-range. And if you're relying on, and again, most consumer speakers, especially like the little iPod docks and stuff like that,
right.
They're not reproducing really low frequencies. So if the kick or the meat or the weight of the kick is really relying on some sub frequencies, when you get on a speaker like this, it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
So this makes you focus on those higher mid-range frequencies
of low tones.
So like, okay, yeah, the sound is translating. It doesn't disappear on these speakers or get lost in the hype of an extended range speaker.
Yeah. We should also mention that they're self-powered,
which is great,
which is really nice. Obviously
very portable.
Very portable, definitely portable. I'm not exactly sure what the price will be in your part of the world, so look them up. They're Avantone Mixcubes. They come in black and or white, or this is more of a cream. I got the cream colored ones. Ryan has the black ones. They're both very nice. Up to you. But like I said, I don't like putting prices in my videos because the video will be up for years. Hopefully, prices change, prices vary.
Sure.
So look up the price in your area. But that's about it for pricing. Anyway, you were gonna say?
Oh, the only thing else I would add to these is they kind of remind me in a way, in the mixing sense, of what I would use NS10s for, which kind of does the same thing. NS10s are like, removes the extended low and high frequencies and lets you concentrate on the mid-range part of the mix.
And if you don't know, the NS10s are the really famous Yamaha white speakers that you see in every recording studio.
They're not pretty to listen to.
No, same thing where it's like they don't really sound that great. Why does everybody have these?
Right.
When I first heard them in the first big studio I was in, I remember them switching to the NS10s and being like, oh, I get to finally hear those white speakers. And I was like, wow,
they sound
awful. But they do serve a specific, point. Like they really do something. And like I say about these speakers all the time is that they're very scientific.
Right.
They don't sound great. They're not beautiful thing, but like a stethoscope is to a doctor, these tell you very important pieces of information about your mix. Like a stethoscope is important because
sure,
it tells you what your heart's doing. So
definitely, if you have instruments fighting on that mid range, in any of these mid range frequencies, it becomes very obvious. Or same thing. I do vocal rides on these, and if there's problems in the mid range of an instrument, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Kind of like what the NS10s were great for.
Yep.
Again, removes those highs and lows a little bit, lets you focus on that mid range meat and potato frequencies, and you'll really hear if there's an issue going on or things are real nasal or whatever. It'll become very apparent on these speakers.
Yeah, definitely. That's very true, especially nasal quality. Yeah.
So these,
absolutely.
again, I wouldn't use these solely by themselves, but these are indispensable in conjunction with another speaker. I'm constantly checking things back and forth between my main monitors and these guys to see how things are translating.
Right. So the reason I even ended up getting these was because I was sort of casually starting to think maybe I need a new set of monitors, or just wasn't thinking that. I was more wanting new monitors. You know what I mean? Just as a home recording guy, I like to buy stuff. So I was like, I want my mixes to be better. Maybe I need a new set of monitors. But then we talked about these, and I knew the history of these types of monitors. I got them, and they made a world of difference. So if you're there, like me, thinking, oh, maybe my M Audio monitors need upgrading, probably not. They're probably perfectly fine. And what you need a set of these. It also alleviates the need to here's a mix, I'm going to take it to my car.
Right.
I'm going to take it to my living room. I'm going to listen to it here.
Sure.
I kind of stopped doing that once I got these because...
Yeah, I don't, I'll check my mixes in the car, but again,
but casually, as I'm leaving for the day or whatever, know.
Right. I mean, I know, again, these give me such a real world perspective on how things are translating. So if they feel good on these and my main monitors, then I'm pretty confident that it's going to translate well everywhere. And
as far as equipment that you see in all the high-end studios, this is actually something that price-wise is attainable.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You can't, unless you're a millionaire or something, you can't really get the super high-end mixers, preamps, all that stuff. But this is certainly, or even the monitors, like a lot of studios use Genelecs or whatever.
Right.
Super expensive stuff that we can't, as home engineer guys, we just can't afford it. It's not in our price range. These are definitely inside of our price range and give us exactly the same result that you guys get out of them in a huge, multi-million-dollar recording studio.
And they're not as painful as the original art. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, I
nicknamed the horror tones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't hurt your ears if you're on them as long as these are a lot softer and.
Yeah, or if you do have an original set of the Aratones and you're thinking about the Mixcubes, this is definitely really good. I mean, we both worked with the Aratones and we both now have the Mixcubes, and
these are a little more. These are definitely more full range than the original Aratones were. And more useful, I think, personally.
Yeah, definitely. So that's it, you guys. I mean, the Avantone Mixcubes, definitely check them out if you're, a serious home engineering guy. And does that make sense? Home engineering?
Yeah,
home engineer recording, something like that. Anyway, definitely one of those secret weapon things that you don't really hear a lot about in magazines, or I haven't heard anybody on YouTube talk about these at all. And it's definitely something that you find in every major recording studio is a small set of speakers like this. So definitely check them out. Avantone.com, I think is what it is.
So, yeah.
There's a link below and for that. And that's it. Of course, I'm always going to be around for the comment section of this. So feel free to write in questions and comments below. And Ryan, thank you very much.
You're
Glad
welcome.
you could
You're
finally
welcome.
come over. He's
No
going to
problem.
be doing some more work with Sunshine Superman, and you know, he engineered the Mark Silver and the Stone Throwers EP and stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you need a good engineer in the tri-state area, this is the guy. And I can tell you how to get in touch with him. If you're in the tri-state area, let me know. He's a great engineer.
I do travel too. So.
And he does travel. So,
Well, happy mixing, everybody.
yeah, happy mixing, you guys. Talk to you later.
Take care.